Hello, folks, and this is really quite an action-packed, like, really last 24 hours. There's been a lot of news that came out. The first one was discussed by Captain Corpulence, which I'll put the video in the links below. He talks about how one of the goons is going to do an interview with Magic Matt, which I can't wait can't wait for, excuse me. And, of course, the other news is LOLsuit 2016 has officially commenced, and then there's a huge plot twist, which I'll talk about after that. But the first thing I'm going to do is, as you can see, is I'm going to read through the alleged complaint. And, oh my god, it's Lolsy. George has actually evolved and started using line paper so he doesn't have that horrible slant when he writes. Alright. Let's read it, shall we? Complaint. I'm filing a case of stolen intellectual property on my videos. Oh, not even like a whole sentence through before the typos just start. And work with a capital K for my cable access show with a capital C. I have registration of my work with not with the Law Library of Congress, just with Law Library of Congress. These two individuals stealed my material. Not stolen my material, stealed my material, and edits the videos in question. Individuals have had no written or verbal blessing or authorization to do so. I'm filing a court restraint against these individuals for them to cease and desist of uploading these her videos? What the hell does that say? These, I cannot figure that out. Looks like her videos with a capital H. Your guys' guess is as good as mine. I'm also requesting to file harassment charge against Sean Brennan. And notice how Sean is all capitalized. For spreading lies and placing various falsified information about me, which is so funny coming from George, since he says that I molest Japanese kids and I beat my mom and all that other stuff. I mean, pot kettle black. For disturbing me at my business at my establishment, which I only did once, which George will never admit to, have different messages that were left on my answering service that... Oh, yeah, by the way, about that, I think I've only called this answering service, I think, back in 2011, maybe, like, 2 or 3 times. He makes it seem like that these were all recent, and, like, I do them all the time. Ooh, shit, sorry about that. Left on my answering service that were... looks like that says cunts. Inappropriate and unwelcomed. I also, L capitalized, have different email L capitalized. George, you see when you, like, do a small L, you don't make it look like that. Messages as well. I want to put an harassment charge and a restraining order, R capitalized, on the first individual, Sean Brennan. I want a cease of any... oh Jesus, I really can't... Any more or any mon? Looks like an N. I want to cease of any more internet correspondence or telephone contact. Also, ceasing for placing any more videos to harass and defame me, which is hilarious, as you know, George does that to us. My request for the court is to not make this jurisdictional issue. You'll see why I'm laughing again in a second. But try it on the federal level, since I reside here. Again, oh yeah, I forgot there's a period there. Yeah, George wants specialized treatment because, you know, he's gorgeous George. He's like Snowflake Zero. George, I swear to God, George is like the first millennial, like, believes in these kind of things. Jesus. Again, I want these individuals to cease with any more videos online and contact via internet or a phone, which is hilarious as George contacts me out of the blue all the time in relation to my work. I also want to sue for monetary value and emotional distress. Didn't George just say earlier that he just wants a restraining order that these individuals have created? I respectfully request the courts in advance for appropriate action to this matter in an expeditious way. Yeah, because he's gorgeous George. Also, grant there be a case heard in this jurisdiction for the following reasons already stated. And I want it now! Thank you for your cooperation in this difficult and trying matter. Sincerely, gorgeous George Yarid. Wow. Now, you may be wondering, why George is doing all this, which I'll do in a minute. But first, I want to show you guys the documents that have been, well, at least what's been submitted so far. I haven't been able to see the PDFs yet, but yeah, here you guys go. As you can see, the 12th was when he, filed his precious Jesus, I can't even say it without laughing. His court document, and then on the 29th, George wanted a extension. Now, this is something that George does in every case. He always wants an extension and never submits new evidence. He keeps claiming that during this time he'll submit new evidence, but of course the reason George does this is he's hoping for some sort of miracle piece of evidence that will make the case go forward, which never works for him. And then on the 30th, as you can see, George has sent a document called Service Information for Defendants, which I can only imagine means that he doxed us and, wants the judge to, be this kick-ass, how do I explain, sort of a mob boss for him and, try to, quote-unquote, get us out of our states and make him go there and see him. Once again, George not realizing how federal law works because, of course, he's a big dunderhead. But here comes the big plot twist. You may be wondering, why does George want this done now? And as you can see on the, October 13, 2016, at 3:30 p.m., George's property is being, I believe, auctioned off. And I can only imagine that is because the huge loan that George has had over his head for, let's see, at least since 2010. I remember when, he accidentally told one of the trolls that they were threatening to, take his house, even all the way back then. And I find that he was, the fact that, he was able to protect it up until now, hilarious, considering how little money George makes. But yeah, that is the reason that George is filing this LOLsuit. And normally, if this was any other person, I'd actually feel sorry for them, but since George is a lying douchebag, I have absolutely no sympathy for it. But yeah, that's pretty much the news. Got George files another LOLsuit where he lies his ass off and wants the judge to be this kick-ass, like I said, mob person, do George's bidding. And his house is being taken away on the 13th, which means George is either going to live in a much, much smaller place, considering how much money he makes, and or he's going to be homeless. I mean, who knows? So yeah, that's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.